What's up, everybody? Welcome, Squad, and welcome to Slav Guns on Tour. I'm here in Utah with Aaron from Anarchy Outdoors.
Hey, guys.
And we're answering one of the biggest questions that usually pops in the comments, which is, I just spent $1,500 on a Ruger Precision rifle. Why should I spend more money and change out stuff? So Aaron, why should people change out stuff? And particularly, I'm glad that you're going to answer this question because most of the stuff that we do change out on the Ruger Precision comes from these shelves behind us.
This is true. The camera's not quite angled down enough to see. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got four Ruger Precisions laid out, and this is only half of the Ruger Precisions that we have.
Like half these parts are for Ruger Precision.
Yeah, these are all throw levers for scopes, but yeah, we do all the Ruger stuff's over there. But
so go ahead.
But anyway, so this is so, we have an FFL and the cell phone number to the VP of Ruger. Guess where I had to buy this gun? Shills. Yeah. Just because you think you're well connected doesn't always mean you're well connected. Anyways, so I've been hunting the brand new Ruger Precision rifle for months. The VP at Ruger told us that they were making some design changes and promised us a rifle. And due to just demand, they have not been able to provide us a rifle. So we called Shills, drove 80 miles one day, like last week, to go pick this up. So this is less than a week old, still 100% in its factory configuration. Yeah. So why would you want to upgrade your brand new Ruger Precision rifle?
Yeah.
Okay, how about let's talk about the gun that started the business right here. So
is that even the same gun?
There's similarities. Can you tell? Similarities.
Well, and this almost like this reminds me of the picture I put side by side with the stock Ruger American in 6.5 Grendel and the one that's completely almost changed over, except we do still have the stock barreled action. Just everything else is different.
Yeah, so this is the gun that started Anarchy Outdoors. The gun I bought, in 2015, in November of 2015, off of like Sportsman's Guide or something. It was the gun to buy, and it was hard to find, and I found it, and I purchased it. But back then, the Gen 1 had a flimsy handguard. Had the Samson handguard that flexed when you loaded it with a bipod. It's built for an AR-15, not for a Ruger. Ruger had a great concept. They had a few flaws in the Gen 1, but they fixed it. So number one reason to upgrade for me, even on the brand new one, is I like a flat bottom. I shoot off barricades, I shoot off cars, I shoot with a bipod. I want full surface connection. So this is a Seekins flat bottom with a sawtooth arms, Arca Swiss rail on here for full bipod manipulation and shooting off flat surfaces. So that's one reason to upgrade the gun.
So here we have a stock Ruger Precision rifle, and I guess one of the most cool things to do right now as a gun owner is to go out there and shoot 1,000 yards, because right now 1,000 yards is what like shooting 300 yards used to be 4 or 5 years ago. Now everybody wants to do it. So with that goal in mind, what are the biggest changes, or what would you need to modify with this gun?
So that's a great thing, and I'd also repeat to that, repeatability, shots on target, follow through, different things like that. What would it take? Well, this gun right here in this configuration, put a scope on it, this gun will do that. Okay?
There you go.
It will do it. It can do it better though.
Okay.
Okay. So first off, the muzzle brake on the end of here. It looks all fancy and it looks awesome, but its functionality is terrible.
Yeah.
It's reduces recoil, but doesn't help anything with barrel flip or any of those things. There are a variety of muzzle brakes laid out on this table. We can get into properties of a great muzzle, whatever. That's a different video. I would swap the muzzle brake out. I would either shoot it suppressed, or I would swap it out for like an Area 419 or an APA or a PVA Jet Blast, or this has been actually kind of a funky one. I don't remember the name of it, but it has like a turbine inside of it.
Cool.
Not as effective as I thought it was going to be, but still pretty effective. So number one thing, I'd replace the muzzle brake. Number two, you're shooting a precision rifle. I'm sorry, Ruger, this is an AR grip. This is not a precision rifle grip, right?
Are you saying Magpul doesn't have an idea of what it takes to do precision?
Well, look, here's a Boyd stock. What's the angle right there?
Yes.
Right, look here. Bagara B14, what's your angle?
Now, for those who are just getting into it, I mean, that's really been the fastest growing segment. Can you talk about the reason why you want to have a more perpendicular grip?
We can talk about why we want a more vertical grip, and we can use this as an example as, the gun that built the company, and we've got better videos on the Penguin grip and things, so this will just be an overview. This is the Tuxedo Grip designed by a former 3rd Battalion Ranger. He does work with some federal agencies. It was designed to help improve shot consistency and reliability, repeatability. Biggest thing is repeatability. So the vertical grip allows you to just rest your fingertips and not grab the gun.
Yes.
On an AR-15, you want to grab that gun. They're short. The impulse for the recoil is different.
Yes.
It's a gas system. The gun's bouncing a little more. You're running, you're gunning, you're up and down. You want to be able to maneuver the gun. Well, in a precision rifle, you're not doing a ton of maneuvering. You're moving, horizontally. Anyways, changing the angle. So you want to just lightly grip the gun. You want the thumb on the left side, so none of the torque from here is going in. There's also heartbeat in your thumb. It can play into different things. And then a nice shelf to rest your hand on for fatigue. But the other piece is this shelf right here is built to help give you, I'll bring this like this, to help give you a 90-degree angle without thinking about it. You can train this, but you got to do a lot of dry fire and training, or if you don't train a ton, you can use a tool that will give you the form and help it become subconscious without hours and hours of training. So as an example, you rack the bolt, you get on the gun, you pull the trigger, and then up, back, and down. And sorry, I did that so bad. But anyways, we'll do it again. I won't lift my head this time, we'll do it. So you come up, back, down, right back in the same position every time. Repeatability, right? Consistency, repeatability. And that trigger finger's in the same spot every time.
I would say, even though it's a perfectly sub-MOA capable gun, the grip on there, it almost has a tendency to make you want to def grip it instead of having relaxed hand.
The number one feedback we get on like the Penguin grip and the Tuxedo is people are unsure. That's why we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee policy. Yeah. If you don't like it, send it back. Like, you don't have to. We're shooters. If you don't like it, let's try something different.
And interestingly, though, so usually when I go out to the range, I'll let everybody at the range try the guns and also just listen to their feedback. Not one person, and I have your Penguin grips on ARs, anything with a chassis, and not one person is like, oh, this is crappy. Or it's like, they might think like, wow, this is a little weird, but then they put it in, I'm like, holy crap, this feels really, really natural. And it just, I would say like, it helps bring out the best trigger pull that you can, even when you have a crappier stock trigger in the gun.
Right, so it's all about, the gun will shoot. You put this in a vise, and it will shoot better than ever when you touch it, right?
The barreled action is solid.
Right, it's gonna shoot. You are the
weak link.
You are the detractor from the accuracy of the rifle. So, saying that, pistol grip. On the Gen 1, I would say bolt shroud first. Okay. The newer guns, they have okay bolt shrouds on them. First one was plastic. The handguard had to go. So there was a few key things on there. One, the next thing is the stock guns come with a 20 MOA base. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the standard for your grandpa.
Except the Magnums.
Yeah, they come with a 30. But it's a Magnum, so it's kind of still the standard. Your grandpa wants his 20 MOA scope base back. Yes. So I personally run 30s on almost everything now, just because the technology in the newer scopes can handle the extra elevation. Right. So, as you see, this is a 30. That's either a 30 or a 40. Mm-hmm. This is probably a 30 as well, and then this one is a 40 on a 223. and it zeroes just fine at 100 yards.
Correct. As long as you have a decent scope, but if you have any of the new one.
We had a 3 to 15 PST Gen 2 on it, so still a good internal adjusting scope, but not, it's not a Night Force or, something, so. Okay, so we talked pistol grip.
So muzzle brake, pistol grip.
Pistol grip. And then on this, I would get an Arca rail. Okay. I'd get an Arca rail because I'm an Arca guy. One, it will give you a flat bottom. We sell Arca rails for these rifles. It gives you that flat bottom. It gives you more surface area if you're shooting off a barricade. Also, your bipod travels.
Yes.
And you clip into a tripod, different things like that. People are like, you never shoot off a tripod in competition. Well, guess what? I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. He went to a rifle match last weekend, and it was like shoot through these trees, and you had to get like 3 different positions. You have to stay within this like box. Mm-hmm. Well, the rules didn't say you couldn't use a tripod. He was the last shooter of the day, puts his tripod inside the box, cleans the stage off the tripod. He didn't have to get on the ground. He didn't have to move around. So, I mean, I use tripod.
I would say even for regular shooters, a tripod is going to be a little bit more convenient as well, because now you don't have to get your butt on the ground, and you have a higher elevated position.
Well, I have a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And
perfect.
On a tripod, I can control where the 6-year-old is pointed, what he's doing. I can hold it, and he can stand. Yeah. Try teaching a little kid laying down. You got to get down there. At least, a 6-year-old, you can actually, the tripod is still high enough. You can actually do that.
And I think in a different video, we talked about kind of one of the trends that we see happening. I absolutely see having tripod shooting, becoming a more common trend in the shooting community in the years to come.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's what I would do. I would do grip, muzzle brake. It's hot and sweaty, so we make little foam cheek pads that make it softer, more comfortable, keeps the sweat. I was hunting in Texas. Man, I would have killed anything to have one of my cheek pads. I used a buddy's gun. We didn't fly down with guns. We used his gun. And man, you put your cheek on there, next thing you got a river running off your face onto the thing. It's all wet. So we make a cheek pad. It absorbs some of the water. Most of it beads and rolls, but it's just more comfortable. So we make, and these are all simple upgrades, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to like rip the gun all the way apart, we can do all sorts of things. So we make firing pins for the guns because the Ruger ones have MIM parts. Mm-hmm. MIM is, how do you explain MIM? It's like powder, metal, compressed.
Metal injection molding.
Yeah, metal injection molding. But it's more, it's like a powder that's superheated in a mold. So it's not like a liquid.
It becomes it's a cheaper manufacturing method, but it does have some negative connotations with it.
You can get bubbles and weak points that you can't see.
And they do become a little bit more brittle, and they are typically the weak point on some of the parts.
They're not high use.
Correct.
So Ruger fixed that in this. So they changed the way this bolt shroud is. It used to taper all the way down, and then they squared it off, and they kind of used the same pattern with the Magnum. So if you have a newer Ruger, we haven't seen if the firing pins fell after 3,000 rounds. The older Rugers, they do. Mm-hmm. The backs of them break. We have internal firing pins, and then a lot of guys will buy the shroud because the stock shroud wiggles a little more than they like, or they want the shiny titanium, or they want to make the gun look good. So there's reasons. That's a non-functional reason to upgrade. Mm-hmm. The shroud, I run a solid titanium shroud when I compete with my Ruger, because more mass behind this massive bolt, the cleaner it runs.
Yes.
So that's what I tell competition shooters. I'm like, what do you use the Ruger before? Because a lot will ask, hey, do I get the one with the firing pin in the back, or do I get the one without? Well, if you're shooting competition, you want more mass behind the bolt. So there's a lot of things you can do to the Ruger precisions.
Now, 2 things you didn't mention yet, and I was waiting for you to, and probably the 2 things that helped start Anarchy Outdoors.
We're gonna get there.
All right.
So yeah, the bolt handle, bolt knob.
Yes.
So we designed, and I laid the factory one down somewhere. The factory. So we designed and here we have Ruger American, Boyd stock. I'm not sure what the bottom metal is, but it has our handle, our knob, our scope base on it. So we designed, and here's the factory handle. This little tiny, no leverage, can barely grab it handle. The only handle worse than this on the market is the CZ455 handle. That's like, you gotta have like baby hands to grab that.
Yes.
And then you rip your knuckles off on your scope, which is why we designed handle for that to solve that problem. Anyways, for the Ruger Precision, we designed the handle for the Ruger American because it needs it.
Correct, because the American comes with one of these.
Right, it needs it, and when you're on the gun, you can come off the trigger and you can come up and back without thinking about it. We changed the angle, we made it longer, we added a more substantial knob to grab onto. We took her from an A to a C.
There you go.
I can say that. Anyways, more substantial to grab onto. But what we didn't realize is we made the Ruger Precision 10 times better without changing the design because they're built on the same action,
yes.
right? So the Ruger Precision has a factory handle with a knob. I mean, this is pretty decent. I mean, you can come off and you can come up and back.
Yes.
So now watch this. Now you can do it with this. So same thing, off and back. But due to the way we've angled it, it keeps it closer to the body. So when you come up, you don't have to go as far. Stupid double stage. Anyways, you don't have to go as far with your finger. It's actually closer, being tighter. And that was an unforeseen blessing or perk to the Ruger Precision, is when we tweaked that handle just slightly, it changed the way the gun functions.
Yeah, and
completely.
and I didn't even notice it before, but seeing these two guns side by side, and I'm going to include a picture right here so you can see it, but the angle and the geometry is different.
This is, and it's hard to see because we're not doing a close-up, but like the angle, see that?
Yeah, you have more room.
hitting. See how I'm hitting my hand? And here, I mean, I can get it all the way under. I'm still hitting a little bit, but it's so much closer. And that was an unforeseen thing when we designed it for the Ruger American. And then we like people to have personal choices. So, you can put whatever 5/16 by 24 knob. As you can see, we have fluted, we have dragon scale, we have little Bertha, we have more dragon scale, we got gold dragon or grenade, and it goes on and on down the table.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that I see the difference between these guns, you have a magazine release as well. I know that's one of the common complaints that some people have with the magazine release on a Ruger Precision rifle.
Yeah, so we offer two magazines, so releases. So one is by Catalyst Arms, which is on my gun because it's red, and you just push straight forward.
See, I'm not the only person who loves red.
Well, yeah, I like red. This gun was totally accented in red, but I've changed it over the years. As you can see, we painted the red here, and this poor gun gets changed every day. She's now the model. We're gonna hang her up on the wall one day. She'll get retired.
She'll get retired soon.
And then we offer our Palmer one, which comes up against the magazine guard.
Wow, that's a lot closer. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot closer and a lot easier. You can come off the trigger and literally just straight down instead of having to push forward and move your hand position, right? So little movements. If you have to drop it for a malfunction or whatever. So there's different styles for everyone. So we offer the Catalyst Arm one. He's a great friend, great company. We make a Palmer version as well. That's great.
And you have them both on your store, AnarchyOutdoors.com.
They're both on the website. And then the next upgrade is trigger.
All right.
Trigger. Make the YouTube worlds jealous because these are unicorns.
Right. So for those who are not familiar, if you've been familiar with the Ruger Precision rifle, traditionally there's only been two aftermarket triggers. Now the stock trigger is not bad, but it can be improved. A lot of people can't stand the bladed triggers. So one aftermarket was by Timney, and then you have another one by Jard. But when the Ruger Precision Rifle Custom Shop came out, there was a Timney trigger. I'm sorry, a Trigger Tech trigger. And when I was told about the gun, I had the exact same thing. I'm like, no, you mean Timney? He's like, no, Trigger Tech. And Trigger Tech, as far as anybody knew, did not make triggers for the Ruger Precision Rifle.
Trigger Tech is sneaky because they do OEM triggers that no one realizes until like Weatherby's. I think they make all Weatherby's triggers now.
That is possible.
Yeah, yes. so they're sneaky because they go OEM and then they go public.
There we go.
So So yeah, so talking custom trigger, flat face.
Yes.
So Trigger Tech, we got a good relationship with Trigger Tech and Tibney. We have good relationships with both companies.
And you have them both on this website.
So this is in the 223 or 556. We have the trigger that's in your custom.
Yes.
This is a Trigger Tech special, flat face. Great trigger. We've put 100 rounds on it. It's a great trigger.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. We haven't put a ton of rounds on the Diamond yet because we just haven't been out. But in this rifle, lived an original Tibney 2-stage, and I swapped it out to do some testing with the flat-faced Diamond. So on the Ruger Precision.
Now, and the Diamond is going to be the only one that's available, or are you going to be carrying the special as well?
I think they're going to do both.
Okay.
So this design right here is not compatible with certain Ruger Precision rifles. They are correcting this. This is a beta trigger.
Yes.
We were able to work with them and help them understand the different fitments. As you can see, we have every caliber known to man. It's all laid out on the table. So they are working on this. I talked to Mark today. They have received the rifles. They're still working on it. If you're waiting for a Trigger Tech, follow, like, subscribe to Anarchy.
Yep.
Trigger Tech's allowing us to be one of their first orders of these triggers.
Fantastic.
So, and we're expecting a couple more to do some more testing with and different things, but great thing. So taking your stock Ruger, we'll go back to the stock Ruger, and just do a quick recap. Pistol grip is a big thing. Trigger is a big thing. The handle's a big thing, and
here, I'll hold it so you can highlight.
So you can highlight. Yeah, so things I would change out of the box would be pistol grip, trigger, handle and knob, and muzzle brake. And then I would add a cheek pad. A lot of guys don't like the Ruger Precision bust stock.
I was just about to mention that because, I mean, there's some people that do, they change them
I
out.
freaking love it.
Yeah.
And I look, I've even broken the little grommet holder, right? Snapped it in half.
Yeah.
That's the one bad thing about their design is no one knows how to use it, and you bend them and you snap them in half. So I'll have to call Mark and see if he'll send me some, or Graham, because I snapped the ones that go in my butt stock. But other than that, I love the butt stock. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about on this gun is this guy.
Oh.
This is an adjustable bag rider by Fast Acquisition.
Okay.
Okay, and it will. Oh, they've got it screwed in tight. Anyways, it should typically cant right to left, but I haven't shot this gun in a while, and my crew takes it apart all the time. So, but it should cant right to left, and then, you know, every once in a while when I shoot weird positions for PRS, man, I'll roll this all the way down. So because you're shooting high elevation, low elevation, weird things. But this has been a great thing, and it extended the length of pole just a little bit. So that's not a must-have.
So I'm vertically challenged, and the stock Ruger Precision rifle stock fits me perfect. But I do know it's one of the biggest complaint points for many taller shooters.
Yeah, I mean, and you could go with a PRS, but again, it's price point, right? You're going to drive the price up.
Yes.
So we could change this, and then 25% of the people would buy it.
Yeah.
Or you could change it on your own, and they'll sell it to everyone.
But I mean, generally, I mean, like, it's a decent stock, and it's not going to hold you back from making the shots.
And like I said, we've got it. I mean, we haven't changed any of the stocks on any of our, like, factory. Like, we haven't changed.
You just added your cheek pad on there.
Yeah, we just added cheek pads to all of them. This one's too new. This one's too new. It doesn't have one. So those are the things I would do to the rifle. The 6.5 PRC.
Yes.
Comes with
and the 6.5 PRC is
a flat bottom.
Correct.
And an Arca Swiss.
Yeah. So the 6.5 PRC, it's almost kind of like a unicorn model because, so it's not a Magnum.
It's not a short action.
Yeah, it's not a Magnum. It's not a short action. It's kind of in the middle.
Well, technically, it is a short action.
Well, it is. Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't fall into Ruger's short action design.
Correct. So I mean, it's a standard AICS magwell, except it uses the 300 WSM. Wow, they have them labeled 6.5 PRC now. But it does take standard AICS mags with no binder plate on the front. But it does come with this latest generation of harsher rails.
I wish this handguard came on this gun here.
Possibly in the
should.
future.
There's no reason it shouldn't have come.
Yeah.
So, except for, I mean, that means I can't sell people aftermarket Arca Swift things, but
There you go.
it should have come out of the box with that. But
Very cool.